It's good to be king, the largest transfer of wealth and power since 1776, and it's going the wrong way. This is just downright weird. FCC Chairman Carr he's now wearing a gold pin on his lapel. I don't know if you've seen any of these pictures from the last couple of days. FCC, you know, the Federal Censorship Commission, it appears he thinks it is. Who, by the way, 3 years ago, when Biden was president, gave a great riff about how important it is, how you're living in a totalitarian state, or a fascist state, I think was the word he used, when they start censoring speech. He was talking about, at that time, of course, the Biden administration suggesting to Facebook and Twitter that they not amplify false claims around COVID. But anyway, he's wearing this gold pin, and the pin is of Donald Trump's head. I was in China in 1988. I studied acupuncture there at the Acupuncture Institute in Beijing. And this is when it was still, this was before China experienced this grand development. It was a very, very poor country at the time. And I picked up a Mao pin. They were more or less officially banned at that point, I think. But, you could get stuff. And I've got it at home. It's just a little round red porcelain thing with a gold head of Mao Zedong on it, smiling. And Donald Trump is selling these now on his website. And Brendan Carr has bought one. I mean, this is crazy stuff. But he also mentioned station licenses again. This is a thinly veiled threat. He tweeted, "Democrats just keep digging themselves a deeper and deeper hole on Kimmel. They can't stand that local TV stations for the first time in years stood up to a national programmer and chose to exercise their lawful right to preempt programming. We need to keep empowering local TV stations to serve their communities of license." Yes, mention the license, because that's where your power is. This is an implicit threat. By the way, on Jimmy Kimmel's rant last night, did you see Robert De Niro doing his old Goodfellas routine or whatever, his mob boss? It was just brilliant. So how many different beauty potions do you have sitting on your bathroom counter right now, eh? If it's more than just Vibrant Super C Serum, listen up. The ingredients in this one bottle can replace your day creams, eye creams, night creams, neck creams, wrinkle creams, and dark spot reducers. In fact, Vibrance has been essential in getting rid of those stress lines caused by our stressful political situation in America. Made in the USA with the highest quality ingredients, including vitamin C, high hyaluronic acid, vitamin B5, and vitamin E, Super C Serum delivers noticeable results. Simplify your skincare routine, get a healthier complexion, and minimize wrinkles and age spots with Vibrance. And if you don't find it better than your current skincare routine, you get a full refund. So go to Vibrance.com/Tom, T-H-O-M, to save up to 37% off and get free shipping. That's Vibrance, Vibrance.com/Tom, T-H-O-M, Vibrance.com/Tom. Also, Trump's revenge prosecutor, Ed Martin, is reportedly demanding information on the FBI agent who was the first one to see the Sandy Hook carnage and then testified against Alex Jones. I lay all this out in my new book, The Last American President. This is how terror and intimidation work. This is how free speech and the rule of law die. And this is how power enforces obedience, by making an example out of one person, and then news outlet after news outlet, comedian after comedian, and eventually the rest of us become too afraid to speak. And that's the bigger story here. What Trump is doing is not politics. This is the deliberate centralization of power, seizing it from the people and seizing it from the media, silencing dissent, bending institutions to his will, cloaking himself in the immunity given to him by 6 corrupt Republicans on the U.S. Supreme Court. I mean, look at what he's done. He declared a crime emergency in D.C. when crime was at a 30-year low. He created a permanent quick reaction force in the National Guard to deploy against cities on his whim. He rolled that model into Memphis. He's threatening Chicago. He did it in Los Angeles and D.C. And retribution seems to be at the center of everything he's doing. He stripped security clearances from Bolton, Milley, Fauci, and dozens of others. He took away Kamala Harris's Secret Service detail. Although I'm sure all his kids still have one, right? The Justice Department staff and prosecutors are being purged for doing their jobs. He filed a $15 billion lawsuit against the Times. Silencing Colbert, silencing Charlie Kirk. Everyday people being hunted down online and losing their jobs because of something that they said. I mean, the state itself is being weaponized. You've got so-called sanctuary cities being starved of funds. The FCC warning ABC affiliates. The administration saying that they're going to crack down on left-wing groups. Whoa. Seriously? Activists, unions, professors, nonprofits, anyone who resists? We've seen that movie before. And now, he's talking about, hey, this is like 1939. Let's invade Poland, right? He's talking about taking Greenland. He's talking about the Panama Canal. He's even suggested Canada becoming the 51st state. He's got conflicts going on with Mexico and the Caribbean. And he's embracing Vladimir Putin. I mean, it's time for us all to stand up and say no. We have to demand that Congress block the abuse of his emergency powers. We need to push the courts to stop executive overreach, before these precedents harden. We need to support independent journalism. We need to push back on censorship, stand with scientists, teachers, comedians, reporters, immigrants, protesters, and be in the streets on No King's Day in October.